Biodiversity is the variety of life that we see on Earth. In the division of Ecology and Biodiversity at Hong Kong U, we're working to address some of the most fundamental questions about life on our planet. We're studying biodiversity and trying to figure out how it operates, where it operates, why it operates in the way it does, and then we can address fundamental questions about sustainability. We're really trying to address these major challenges, the extinction crisis, climate change, that biodiversity and humanity are facing. And we're doing that in a lot of different ways.
Many insect groups are under multiple threats from human activities, and these include loss of habitat through land use change, the use of pesticides, and climate change. We think that light pollution will negatively impact the number of species and the abundance of things like moths, and that will have knock-on effects for things like bird diversity that rely on those insects for food. So this is a new project here where we're trying to understand the interactions between multiple factors affecting biodiversity, so light pollution as well as urbanization. And it's these interacting and compounding effects that we're really interested in trying to understand.
Wildlife trade is one of the major global drivers of biodiversity loss. So we have evidence now that wildlife trade is driving certain species to extinction. So here we have a bunch of samples of different species that have been trafficked through Hong Kong. And what we're doing in the lab here is using a variety of tools to try to figure out where these species have come from, and in some cases identify specific species. So these data will help us determine which species are being traded and whether they have been captive bred or wild caught. And this is information that will help determine whether they're being traded legally or not. We hope that the results from these studies will help to shape future policy decisions.
Throughout the tropics, there has been severe deforestation, including Hong Kong. My aim is to restore natural forests on the hillside and therefore benefit biodiversity. A lot of the landslide in country parks are on very steep slopes, so you cannot work on those surfaces. By dropping seeds from a drone, it is actually the most effective method to reforest a landslide site. What we're doing here is to wrap the seed in a biochar seed ball like this, and this seed ball will be put inside a drum and sold onto the hillside. If we have extensive forests back on the country park, that will benefit all the biodiversity depending on them.
Oyster reefs in Hong Kong have been exploited for many different uses for at least 700 years. So we're trying to understand what's remaining and the biodiversity that's associated with oyster reefs so that we can actually help restore them and improve their function. The data that we're getting so far show that the biodiversity associated with oysters compared to bare mudflats is at least 6 times greater. We've shown that we can actually bring these systems back to healthy systems. The benefits flow through to many other species, including birds and fish, all the way through to humans as well.
In ecology and biodiversity, the most important ideas are going to be coming from the younger generations. And we're always looking for new students and new people to join our team. Those ideas will be the ideas that will allow us to have a planet that is habitable and will provide for generations to come.